Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
Well, hello. Welcome to the sports show. I'm your host, Ty House, along with...
Alex Squires. How you doing, Ty?
How you doing, big homie?
I'm good, man.
I forgot, man. The raindrops keep falling on my head.
Yeah. It's pouring out there.
Yeah.
It's pouring.
It's a rainy day here in Cleveland. We ain't in Cleveland, but on the lovely Lake Erie shores.
Close enough. It is raining out there.
That's why I got on the tiger hat.
It's an ugly hat.
Did we leave a push broom in this area somewhere?
You didn't leave anything anywhere. Yes.
I have the tiger hat on. I mean, I'm affiliated.
Oh, goodness gracious. This is what this has become.
We're not going to talk to Tigers today. I'm going to lead.
No, let's talk Tigers.
No, I'm not going to talk to Tigers today. I'm going to take the hat off. I'm going to get rid of it. I know where I'm at.
I will say...
I want to talk LeBron James.
I just want to say that Victor Martinez has more home runs than strikeouts. Wrap your head around that.
Is that like a record or something?
It's nuts, but go ahead.
LeBron James.
Yeah, he opted out today.
How much was he making a year?
Just shy of 20. I think it was like 18 or 19 million
16,
a year.
17 million?
Something like that.
Man, so he opted out. He had one more year left on the contract.
Mm-hmm.
All three of them, Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, all of them had one more year left on the contract.
Right.
LeBron opted out early, really, because he had to the 30th, right? Was the deadline.
And, by all accounts, everyone thought, why wouldn't he take the full amount of time? But he decided to come to announce it a little early. Just a couple days before the draft, which I find a little bit interesting. He didn't have to do it this early, like you said. He had until the 30th, and like I said, by all accounts, he was going to take all that time. But today, out of nowhere, he decides to opt out
early.
Yeah.
One day after his pregnant wife.
That's right.
Who we found that out from Pat Riley.
Yeah.
Pat Riley just spilled the beans.
I was just say, it's everyone's business.
I think that might cause a little animosity there.
Especially, and after that,
Pat Riley played. But Savannah posted on her Instagram a big picture of Ohio with the Akron and said the countdown begins.
Yep, it's for real or something like that.
I'm coming home.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like to read too much into these things, because she could just be talking nonsense for all we know.
She just opened up a hair salon in the Akron area.
I know. Again, I don't want to read too far into it.
My one thing,
because I know that you're building a case here.
I mean, it's all there, but I'm gonna good googly moogly. I'm gonna knock down the Jenga.
Jenga.
Is that what it's called?
Jenga, yep.
I'm going to knock down the Jenga before it even starts. My one downfall is the new head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I really do. I think
really
he's a great hire. David Blatt.
Absolutely.
From Tel Aviv, Israel, somewhere over there.
Yeah, that's
across the pond.
That's where he was coaching. He's coached.
Russia?
He's coached in Russia. He coached in Germany. He's been all over Europe.
But he's from America.
Yeah, he's from America. Went to Princeton.
Smart guy.
Played in that Princeton offense. A really smart guy. He actually played a couple years in the Atlanta D League. But
really?
But outside of that, his entire career was spent abroad.
Okay. So he
So it's not like American basketball is just this whole crazy different thing he's never seen before, Like people want to make such a big deal about his coaching style translating from the European style of basketball to America in the NBA.
I mean, you got to look at the NBA champion San Antonio Spurs.
Absolutely. I mean,
that's an international team.
It is. Every one of them.
Even they coach.
Yeah, you have Danny Green and I don't know who else is even American on that team.
Kawhi, maybe?
Kawhi Leonard, yeah, he is.
Maybe.
And I don't know if they still have Corey Joseph, who's like their third string point guard.
He in there somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Ain't that a North Carolina product or something like that?
No, he actually went to Texas. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
it's not to say that that's like, just because their team is full of European players doesn't mean that the European style of basketball that David Blatt likes to run is going to translate. But it makes sense because I mean it's obvious. There's some, I'm not sure exactly what they are, but there's some rule differences in the rules. There's differences. The key
is it still a lot wider? Or I remember
it actually
moved it in closer.
It tapers in.
Okay. So
it's like a long trapezoid basically. It's not a perfect rectangle like the NBA. But that doesn't really have anything to do with the game on the court. But when you just, and it's not just David Blatt's style of game and coaching. It's the entire European league plays like the Spurs do. It's not isolation. It's not so many teams in the NBA. It's such a star-driven league. So many teams just run a high pick and roll. If that doesn't work, they isolate.
Right.
They don't do that. Not just David Blatt, but the entire European league. It's all based on screening and ball movement and player movement and getting the best shot. A lot like
the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, and I was gonna say Bo Ryan in that Wisconsin college team.
Oh, here you go. He went all the way to Bo Ryan. This Wisconsin team. He picked to be in the Final Four. Actually picked to win it all.
They were in the Final Four, were they not?
Just short.
But hey.
Just short.
But that's exactly what they would do.
The thing I like about David Blatt is he is a demanding coach.
Yeah.
And he is demanding not only, like you said, with the offense that he runs, he's also demanding on the other end of the floor. He holds you accountable on that defensive end of the floor.
Right.
And we know defense is what wins championships. You got to be able to defend the ball. You can have as many scores as you want to have. You know what I'm saying? And you can score 120 points.
Right.
Unless you're playing against a good defense.
Right.
Now you might score 98 points.
Right. I mean, look at Mike D'Antoni and how he's, he always says, the best defense is more offense, and how's that working out for him these days?
Right, and it's like, if we gonna bring LeBron back, we got Kyrie, we got the guy from last year. We don't even want to talk about him.
Guy from last year,
the #1 pick. He's still there.
Oh, Anthony Bennett. Yo.
Him.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to talk about him.
No. We do want to talk about Anthony Bennett.
What about him you want to say about Anthony?
I fully expect to see him vastly improved this year.
Double-double?
I'm not gonna say he's gonna. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's gonna average a double-double.
Can we get a double 10 points from him at least a game? And he averaged
I would say yes. Yes, he will average double digits in scoring this year. Not just because his game's gonna improve, but he's gonna be forced to play more. I mean, as the roster is constituted right now, he's gonna have to put in some big minutes as it is right now. But I got to assume there's gonna be acquisitions. We have the draft coming up Thursday. Things are gonna change. Pieces are gonna move. This team could look completely different. When you have a new GM, you have a new head coach. Things tend to be blown up when that happens. And it's going to be really, really interesting. It's going to be really, and what you said about David Blatt being a defensive-minded coach, that is so rare in Europe. They don't teach that.
That's why
Europe.
all he do
and that's why he was so successful.
Like Dan Gilbert said, all he do is win.
Yeah, and
that's T-Pain right there.
And all the analysts, all the national guys, everyone you listen to, everyone you talk to, everyone you read an article about, no one has a single bad thing to say about this guy. No one. He's
and another key to the whole Cleveland thing, and then we're gonna move on, get away from Cleveland, is they also hired Tyronn Lue, who was really, if it wasn't gonna be David Blatt,
right.
It was going to be Tyronn Lue be the coach. So really, they hired two coaches.
And now I'm glad you brought that up because they hired him to a position I've never heard of before.
An associate coach.
An associate head coach. What does that mean?
He a coach. He's the head coach too. David Blatt, mess up if you want to. We will replace you real quick.
But how can you do that?
Listen, it was like
you can't have two head coaches.
You got two general managers in Cleveland. You got Dan Gilbert, and then you got David Griffin.
Dan Gilbert's the owner.
He make decisions.
But that's the issue.
Exactly, and that's what's going on, right, with what you're talking about. Tyronn Lue, was Dan Gilbert's man. David Griffin was Dave Black's man.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Is there a country that has 2 presidents?
Look, I'm going to get, the first lady is the president. She runs the country, bro.
Where would Catholicism be without the popes?
Here you go now. Oh, my God. We talking sports. Don't even get me on that. Don't even get me on that.
And it's just an example that entities don't thrive with 2 heads. You need one quarterback, 1 head coach, one pope.
You're saying that, but you just in the whole Miami thing. I mean, they last 4 championships wasn't won by just one person in particular.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
LeBron James?
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley.
That's right.
Okay. I guess that's what
Eric
you want to
Spoelstra's a.
Oh,
Come on.
He's a video guy.
I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
Look, LeBron is opted out. I say he's coming to Cleveland. Could you see him in Chicago?
I can see him a lot of places.
Chicago is in full legacy building mode right now. If they land Carmelo,
Yeah.
and could possibly get Kevin Love.
And then we all forget they also have Derrick Rose. Depending on
And
those knees.
That's the one key to where LeBron James is gonna play. He's never played with a true point guard. And that's where I think his next step is gonna be, where he doesn't have as much pressure on him like it was this whole season in Miami. This whole season in Miami was Cleveland 5 years ago.
Yeah.
This whole season.
Pretty much.
And he can't stand to do that anymore, man.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a point guard to bring the ball up the court. And he got to have some big dogs around him. That's what Cleveland got. That's what Chicago got.
Yeah.
Another team I could see with the Houston Rockets. They just lacking a point guard.
You kidding me?
Who was the point guard? James Harden?
Linsanity? Ever heard of him?
We got to take a break, man. I got a headache. I got to go take an aspirin or something. This dude said Linsanity. This is the sports show. We'll be right back.
Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year? The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Welcome back to the sports show, where we're still talking LeBron James.
Yep.
We got to figure out where this dude's going to go.
We will. We'll figure it out. We got like 12 minutes. We'll figure it out.
And you know, all the teams that's in the running for LeBron James are all top-tier teams. You don't hear nobody like Milwaukee like, man, what if we could get LeBron James?
They're all top tier teams with LeBron.
Without, I'm gonna say this is 7 locations LeBron could end up. Miami, Chicago, playoff team. Chicago, playoff team. Houston, playoff team. The Clippers, playoff team. Then you get to the Cavaliers, the Lakers, the Atlanta Hawks, the Phoenix Suns, and maybe the New York Knicks.
Those are the first time I've heard the Hawks
Let's
or
talk
the
about
Suns.
it. LeBron is not going to go to these teams in these markets, but would it be fascinating? I love the Atlanta idea. They could have in the ballpark of $17 million if they traded away Lou Williams, and that would give the Hawks a starting 5 of Jeff Teague, better than any point guard Miami got, Kyle Culver
That's fair.
to space the floor, LeBron at the 3, Paul Millsap at the 4, Al Horford at the 5. That's
No.
a good team.
He's not going to Atlanta. He's not going to
Hold
Atlanta.
on. The Suns could sign LeBron.
He's not going to Phoenix.
They could sign LeBron for near the max.
No.
He could go live in the desert, and they'd give him $126 million over 5.
They can't give him that.
Near the max. And if you put him with Eric Bledsoe,
Who missed half of last year.
it would be fun, though.
You put him with, just throw LeBron and Eric
Gerald
Bledsoe out
Green.
there. They'll play 2-on-5.
Gerald Green.
Gerald Green. Goodness
The
gracious.
Twins.
Let's move on.
These are up-and-coming teams. You can laugh if you want to.
If
but Phoenix was a good team last year.
LeBron, I know they have a good team, but if LeBron James,
Any team
if he-
LeBron goes
if he-
to is going to be a front runner for the championship.
absolutely. But if he just goes to another, see, you gotta, like it's not for these. It's not just about basketball, not at all. Like they don't think I'm gonna go to this team because it makes sense from a basketball philosophy standpoint. They go to these teams for money. They go to these teams for their image. They go to these teams for their legacy. If LeBron James goes from Cleveland to Miami, and then he goes to Atlanta, he becomes a mercenary. He's just hopping around, becoming a journeyman like so many other players. LeBron James was in Cleveland, he was in Miami, and now he's either going to stay in Miami, he's going to come back to Cleveland, or he's going to go to one of the huge markets like New York, LA, or Chicago. Those are the only options. He's not going to Atlanta or Phoenix or Houston. All right? Now the Clippers I'll listen to, but that would only be in a sign and trade deal. That would only be in a sign and trade situation.
After all you just said, the only reason he would come back to Cleveland is for what? Because there are none of those teams you just spoke of.
Unfinished business.
Okay, well, he ain't coming back to Cleveland then, y'all.
Why not?
You just gave this big to-do about him having to be in the major market.
No,
LA, New York,
That is not what I said.
Chicago.
That is not what I said.
He is chasing a legacy.
If he's
he
going,
wants to win championships.
If he's going to his third team, it's going to be one of the huger markets. But otherwise, he's just either stay in Miami or he's going to go back to Cleveland.
Why people keep doubting Houston? Houston is a huge market.
Houston is one of the bigger markets, but it's just you have James Harden, you have Dwight Howard, you have a guy who already plays a position, Chandler Parsons. They got a lot of money in that team. They have a whole lot of money in that team, and they have some young players too that they're going to have to pay too. And I just it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right at all. Now, like I was going to say, is that I will listen to the Clippers argument that he could end up with the Clippers because he has a relationship with Doc Rivers, he has a relationship with Chris Paul. But the only way that deal could, because they're not gonna, like I said, it's gonna be in a sign and trade, and they're not going because they can't outright sign LeBron James. The Clippers can't. It would have to be in a sign and trade, and it would have to involve Blake Griffin because that's the only one making enough money that would make it make sense. Because they're not gonna ship Chris Paul because Chris Paul would be one of the main reasons LeBron would be going there. That he would agree to the sign and trade.
I think you could keep Blake Griffin.
No, they don't have enough money.
You'll have to give up DeAndre Jordan, and J.J. Redick,
Yeah, but they don't.
maybe a couple other pieces.
Blake Griffin makes much more money than those guys,
Okay.
even combined.
Okay. You can make it work.
I mean, you can always make it work. You can always go over the cap
My
and pay
man
that
is trying
tax.
to spend $2 billion for the team.
Yeah.
Do you think he care about paying a luxury tax to win
Maybe
a
so.
championship?
Maybe so. Like I said,
To have LeBron James to bring tickets in to raise it's LA. You can price the tickets $500 a ticket to come in here and see LeBron, and everybody gonna pay it.
Yeah.
You gonna pay for that $2 billion real quick. But
Yeah.
I don't see him going to the Clippers.
like I said, I'll listen to that argument. And Blake Griffin, I don't think Blake Griffin's very good, to be honest. So that wouldn't be that big of a deal to me anyway.
Like I said, man, I hang my hat on this. LeBron James is turning 30 years old.
Yeah, I heard that. That's crazy to me.
He got 2 sons,
Another one on the way.
married, a daughter on the way. He's a family man.
Right.
He's won championships. he's rich among what his wildest dreams already.
Yeah,
he got more money than he could ever imagine when he was 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old.
Absolutely.
Like, I know when he was 15, he was probably like, man, I'll make about $20 million playing basketball.
Right.
But he done did that in
one season.
for beats.
Yeah, right.
Like I say, $30 million from beats.
Right.
So, I mean, I just feel like he coming home, man. I really feel like he coming back to Cleveland.
It makes a whole lot of sense.
I couldn't
It really
see him
does.
as a Clipper. Only other team I could really see, man, is like I say, is the Rockets. I
Yeah.
couldn't see him going to Chicago with the whole Michael Jordan thing hanging over the head.
Right.
I just couldn't see it, man. And Miami, going back to Miami, is him saying, okay, I'm done chasing championships.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna ride it into the sunset.
And
basically.
I don't feel like he's done chasing championships.
I don't think so either. And I think coming back to Cleveland puts him in the best position to win more championships, considering the talent we have and considering the assets we have and considering how young a lot of the talent we have are.
So what would it take to persuade him to come back?
Not much, I don't
mean,
think.
it's a torn relationship with the owner.
I think that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is what it boils down to. As far as the public is concerned, LeBron and Dan Gilbert haven't even had a conversation about it.
Like you said, as far as the public.
Yes, as far as the public is concerned, we have to imagine.
Then money talk. We don't even. Me and you don't have to talk for our money to talk. We have people that speak for us when we got money like that.
Right. When we have money like that.
Yeah, we got money like that.
Right. That's right. That's right. But you got to assume that they had some type of communication during when they retired Z's number and he came back. You have to assume that maybe they went to dinner that night or whatever. That they talked to some stretch.
Right.
They spoke, and you just that relationship is if it becomes mended, it just makes a whole lot of sense.
I tell you what, bring him back. You're offering 25-30% of the team.
I mean, there, like I said when we were talking earlier, I don't know if there's a legal thing there. I mean, I don't know if the NBA allows.
If it is, sell it to my wife.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that would be groundbreaking for something like that to happen.
He's a transitional player, though. I mean, he is the forefront. He's in the leader and the best. He should have went to Michigan.
Make him the head coach.
Can't do that.
I heard what you just said. I heard
Not
you
yet.
slip that in. I know you think that you slid it under the
Not
rug,
yet.
but I heard it.
I'll put my Tiger hat back on for you.
I chose not to.
You want me to?
I chose not to entertain it. That's
Put my
all.
Tiger
it was.
hat back on. You want me to let you remind you of that broom?
Man, that's an ugly hat.
This is a broom's ugly shirt for you. They're great. What you know about that?
I know that they're great. I know that lineup is faltering. Faltering isn't the right word. They're not what they used to be. That lineup last year was one of the best in baseball. This year, it looks flaky at some points. The lineup is still there. The addition of Ian Kinsler was huge, but
Only difference in our Tigers from this year and last year is the management.
yeah. Well, the bullpen still sucks. You can't even argue that.
It was good enough this weekend.
Well, yeah, when you're up by 10, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, this is something I gotta say for our whole division. Mm-hmm. Nobody in the division is really playing bad baseball. Nobody. I mean,
No, they really aren't.
Last place is only like three games under 500.
Right, the Twins and White Sox have both surprisingly played well.
And what the White Sox are in last place.
Yeah.
But they're 7 games out of first place.
Right, they're right there.
And then the Tigers were 10 games up, and then lost 25 of the next 34 games.
Yeah.
Fell a game out of first place, and just for like 2 days. That's all. Just like.
And it was Kansas City, not the Indians, that were in the first.
Who
place.
haven't been playing incredible baseball.
They've
until
played
they
well
ran
as
into
of
the
late.
little buzzsaw.
They've played well as of late, but I mean, I'm as skeptical as everyone else with Kansas City. You know, we've been.
They improving though, man. Every year, you see Kansas City get a little bit better, and then one day.
Like I said, you're right. One day, but every year for the past 5 years was supposedly the year that Kansas City was going to jump up and be the head of this division.
They were in first place
Just
for
like-
the first time in almost 20 years, bro.
Just like the Spurs ever being bad,
That day is coming.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That day is coming.
Okay.
Quick question. Speaking of the Spurs, NBA champions.
Yeah.
5 times in the past, 15 years?
Duncan's coming back.
Duncan's coming back. That's kind of like where my question is going. When Duncan leave, does Greg Popovich leave?
I think it's the distinct possibility.
I
really
think
do.
it's a wrap when that happens.
I think you're probably right.
I mean, because all of Greg Popovich's disciples have went on to have good teams.
Yeah, none of them really, really impressed.
Except for Pop. I mean,
Yeah.
except for Doc Rivers, who coached
right.
under Greg
Right.
Popovich for a quick minute.
Right.
That's the only one.
Maybe-
Everybody else is kind of like my man in Atlanta. He's shocked, kept the
Right.
team together. They good at managing teams, but
Mike
nobody
Brown.
is. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe with the kind of genius that he passes on, from coach to coach. Maybe it takes a while. It's vintage style, and it takes a while to actually come to fruit.
well, thank you, Alex, as always, for coming to sit around and talk sports with me. It's always a fun time when we get.
Yeah, we
chance
hadn't
to
done it in a
talk
while.
sports.
It was fun.
Next time we see y'all, we probably still be talking about LeBron James. We didn't get to talk about the draft, so that's probably what we'll talk about next.
Yeah,
which takes place Thursday.
Right. Next week we'll have the draft will happen. We'll break it down.
All right, this is the Sports Show. I'm Ty House. That's
Alex Squires.
peace.